Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. My opponent's gone first and got off to a fantastic start with a bingo. I have a balanced rack, but it's not too great. It's a long way from a bingo, and I've got the W and U combination and a lot of high-scoring tiles. High-scoring tiles are good for score, but a lot of them diminish bingo prospects. So I need to sort this rack out as soon as possible. I'm looking at the N of canters as a possibility for putting my U in front of it to have an unword. Can't see anything there. Onto an M, I would have wampum. I may not be able to sort out this rack straight away. I could play Maup above the E of canters, leaving AWE. That's not terrible. Can I do any better than that? It would be nice to play off the W and the U. Can't see a way of doing that. I could play Pom Ace, but that keeps W and U. So let's get this ball rolling. Maup does set up the W for making wuss. But I don't have a U or an O for going in front of the P. Now I do have a scoring tile in the X, so I should be able to play off the W and the X. Through a U I would have Wuxia, and I have wax on my rack. No U available. My opponent gets 18. Now I can play wax parallel to cobia, beginning next to the O. Is that the best spot? Well, it's quite a good spot. I certainly do want to get rid of the W as well, as given that I'm behind and I have a bingo-y rack leave if I play it. So wax 39. Great, I draw a blank. I've got Assegai on my rack, which plays in column 12. A siege is also available. Any 7-letter bingo I have will play in column 12 because of Maups. Cobia takes an S, so either Assegai or a siege can play in row M. Now, what about column 8 for a bingo beginning M-E? Or ending M-E something. So I've got the mega prefix. Well, I'm not seeing a bingo there. No double lanes available. There's row K for bingos going through XI. So a bingo, well, that's not going to be a double, it's just going to be doubled. Now, my opponent has made available a bingo lane, a double bingo lane in row E. So, do I have a bingo which runs over the top of YAE? So that's Assegai. Can't see anything there. Well, that looks like there is something. Aegises and a siege. Neither of those works. Glassy, silages, ligases, possibly one other, probably the one which fits. Can't see anything there, although it looks good. Ceasing, easings. Can't see anything here. this looks very promising. Gassier. Agists. Aguises. Okay, so I can't see a double-double. I think I'll play Assegai across here. Actually, I'll make that a siege to avoid putting the vowel next to the double word square. £72 points for that. Now, not a bingo-y rack, but I do have scoring tiles. Great, my opponent challenges, loses 5 points. I've now got a 23-point lead, despite my opponent opening with a bingo. My opponent changes. Fantastic. So, how can I sort this rack out? I want to score and play off some of my tiles. CH and K are all quite synergetic, but I want them on the board scoring points. Koch is good. Can't see anywhere for that. I don't have any hooks for our siege, which is just the D and the S. Only the S goes on the end of Malp. My C can go in front of double A in row D. What about Hattock? I think Hattock is good as a 7. Does that play anywhere? No. Again, a lot of hooks on this board for SS's. Cobia takes an S and Woe takes a T in front. But I haven't got anywhere for Hattock. In fact, there are limited opportunities for playing on this board. Now I'm looking above a siege because my A can go above the G, so I can at least play hat. I can play cat. Khat. That's better. Decent rack leave, decent score. 40 points. Great. And that looks pretty bingo-y. Through an E, I would have election. I think lection is good. Lection. Now, does that go anywhere? Probably not. I'm looking at the A of Cobia. Now, what about row J through AB? Balection is good, and it's got an anagram. Balection doesn't go. What is the anagram of Balection? Cobaltine. That doesn't go either. There's the N and T of canters as floaters. Can't see anything there. Can't see anything beginning with the A of Cobia. Although that looks a bingo-y set of 8 tiles. Nothing goes in front of KI on my rack, just an S. I don't think lection has got an anagram. My opponent's provided nothing. That's a shame. I was hoping they might open the board up a bit. So, what can I do here? Wow takes nothing in front, so column 2 as a bingo lane is now closed off. My C could go in front of HE or AG in row C, so I could have a play beginning... Well, I was going to say CL, but I've got nothing to go in front of TE. Now, what about bingos including TE in column 13? I've got telly as a prefix, teletonic. Can't see anything there. So, what to do with this rack? Well, maybe I should play through XI. I think exilic is good. Doesn't give too much away. Scores quite well. Decent rack leave. 30 points. I'm just pausing in case I've got a 9-letter play through XI. Can't see it. Not good. I do have a scoring tile in the P, but I have duplicate tiles. So I'm probably looking at playing a word like pot, potto, poot, just to sort the rack out, and I'm going to struggle to score above 20. Now I have opened a hot spot in this triple letter square at J2. So I could use that with TO pan. Quite tempting. One blank has gone. It would certainly sort the rack out. 27 points is a good score. Let me see what this looks like. This is quite an open move. My opponent could have a 9-timer across here, could also score very well in column 1 with a high scoring tile at L1 for 50 odd points. All I'm getting is 27 points, but the board is blocked. So I'm struggling with options. I don't have an H for going underneath the C of exilic. I have nothing which goes in front of double A. Possibly I could play across row C, because I have got the A now for going in front of TE. But it's going to be hard to do that without opening up column 15. I think I'll take my chances. Not great. I do have an H for going underneath the C of exilic, but I would need a 6-letter play to reach the double word square, and that's going to be hard. I've got an M for going in front of double A in row D. Now, tier pan's an exceptionally open move because I've also opened up column 1 for bingos or plays ending in S. So I may live to regret that play, especially with such a ropey rack. My U can go in front of TE. So if my opponent leaves this area alone, if I can't score well there myself, it's tempting to open the board even wider open. If there are enough good opportunities on the board, some of them will fall my way. So I could play hunt across here. 25 points. What else is available? My T can go in front of HE, so I could play thud. That would be better. And then THE takes an E in front, so that would be opening the board up. So thud's quite a nice play. 33 points, good score as well. Great, only 18 points for my opponent. I've survived that scare. My opponent may still get a bingo ending in S, but never mind if they do. I've got a good lead. Thud 33. Well, the remaining S and blank are still out there, not on my rack. I don't have a great rack. Column 1 is going to stay available for stab. because nothing goes in front of exilic and nothing else can block that lane unless it's a 6-letter play beginning at d2. So my aim is to stay more than a bingo ahead of my opponent to survive a column 1 bingo. Now, more to the point, how do I sort this rack out? Overall, the board is pretty blocked. Where's my opponent played? Down across here. Well, that's pretty handy because I can play mung and firm. That would certainly sort the rack out. 23 points. Just looking at the other letters on my rack, which goes after FER. It's just the N and the M. I'm wondering about Mungo, but I don't think that's good. 4 O's in the bag, so it would be nice to play Mungo if I was sure of it. But if I don't draw any more O's, the O could be quite useful. 23 points, not a great score. But I haven't seen anything better in terms of score and rack leave. Great, I draw the blank. I've also got the J and the Z. So it'd be nice to play off the J and the Z and get a bingo down. 29 tiles in the bag. I'll probably have to play off the J and the Z on separate moves. Now, my J can go in front of Ute, so I could play Jaw across here. That would be good because it would split up the duplicate R. Great, only 8 points for my opponent. Fantastic. And I'm quite pleased that my opponent is opening up bingo lanes, because with the blank, I'm expecting to bingo or hoping to bingo in the next couple of goes. So I've got Jaw across here for 36 points. That is a good score with this rack. And a pretty decent rack leave. Not a great pickup. I could do with some vowels, but I do have an E, which is quite handy. It's a bingo-y tile in itself, and it also goes in front of THE in row B. Now, it'd be good to get rid of the FL and Z, but that's going to be hard. I can't even see anywhere for Fez at the moment. My opponent has changed. Great. Now, Munge is good, I think. So, I could play Fez or Trez across here. LRT is not a great combination, but it's not a disaster. Certainly, if I draw a whole bunch of vowels, it'll look pretty good. 38 points is a good score for Fez. Now, my F could go in front of AA, but I do want to burn the Z this go, because I have the blank and the Z is inhibiting my bingo prospects. Great, that's a pretty good pickup. I surely have a bingo here. Now, Fez has obscured column 14 as a bingo lane. I have Tolters on my rack, and that plays in column 1. Lotters and Tolters. Settler and Slotter being the other bingos. I'm looking in row O to see if I have a bingo beginning EN. Can't see one. But column 1's going to be difficult for my opponent to block. They've either got to burn their own S, or they can't block it. And if they burn an S, they'll be opening up column 2. But I ought to try and identify an alternative bingo. I think an alternative bingo would have 7 letters, so let's see what comes to mind. I've got 7 minutes left. row N across here ending or going underneath Fez is a possibility. So that's bottler. I'm not sure about munger. Might be good. Clotter, possibly crottle. Dottler. Haven't seen anything else I feel confident about yet. Triolet, that doesn't play. 11 minutes on my opponent's clock. Mottler, not sure about that. Rootlet. Nowhere for that. Plotter. I guess I'm going to come up with a lot of ER words. That's my lotters and tolters rack. Great, my opponent has changed again. Fantastic. And I haven't seen anything better than tolters. So let me get this down. Teopan has, in the end, worked out okay for me. That doesn't mean it was the winningest play. Tolters 76. Not great, but not awful either. The UV is irksome. But I'm not looking for bingos at this stage, just 13 tiles left. Wow, great bingo by my opponent, hooking a siege and lines. And that means I could have played settler or slotter in the same spot. But I didn't see that, so well done to my opponent. Now, what can I do here? 6 tiles in the bag, so I'm looking to play off 5, maybe. I could play verb in row D. I've got a 150-point lead, so this game is mine. Looking at the remaining tiles, pretty unbalanced. Loads of I's, loads of O's, and the V is not great. But even if my opponent does bingo, they're not going to win. So verb for 23. I'm just pausing in case there's something a lot better in column 15. With another V out there, and the V being a clunky tile, I'd rather play it straight away, and I can't play the V in column 15, so I think I'm happy with where I've played it. Yeah, I do draw the other V. 2 tiles in the bag. Pretty grim selection for my opponent. $31 points. Yep, pretty good. Now I can see what my opponent's got left. I don't think they are going out in 1, so I can plan an out in 2, and I've got 5 minutes to do that. I've got VIE and Uni on my rack, so I can play VIE in column 2. Let me see what this looks like. I don't think this gives very much away. But do I now have somewhere for Uni? I have ennui in row O. Do I have a second place for Uni? Well, I have blocked a spot for Uni, so maybe I should play VIAE somewhere else. And I could play it in row N, making FE. for 4 fewer points. Four minutes on my clock. And is there somewhere else for VIE, or maybe I should be playing something? Ah, well, I've spotted a second spot for Uni and LI, so I'm going to go with this. VIE almost certainly suboptimal, but it's very hard to identify the best move in the endgame, which is one reason I like to be well ahead going into it, so that a suboptimal endgame doesn't cost me the game. 17 points for my opponent. Let me see what this scores. Ennui for 6. Uni for 6 would be the same. 3 minutes on my clock. Is there anywhere else for Uni? I don't think so. Just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which they do. And the final score, 319 to my opponent, 483 to me, a winning margin of 164 points. So a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. And I no longer have to drag this screen into view. The latest upgrade to Camtasia does it automatically, which is good. Oh, wow, Doyle was a phony. How annoying. How annoying. I had a moment's doubt about it, but convinced myself that it was good. Anyway, it didn't cost me the game. This was my opponent's opening bingo. Great start for them. Now, what did I have here? Cowpea, that would have been good, down from the sea of canters. I played Maup for 22, which actually isn't that bad. It's 4 fewer points than Cowpea, but Cowpea retains the U, and the W, together with the A and the E, it is definitely going to give me scoring options on the next go. So Maup is fine. My opponent's plagued by vowels. This was my rack. Ooh, Wax's I3. So I played Wax, and I could have got 23 more points by playing the E and the S. Well, that's remiss. That was certainly a much better play. But Wax looks like it was second best. How annoying. Anyway, that's over now. My opponent played Yay, and here I had a whole bunch of bingos. Assegai and Kobia scoring 80. And I played a Siege for how much? Ooh, for only 72. Okay, I hadn't appreciated that Assegai and the Siege scored so much more in row M. I was distracted by the possibility of an overlap. Anyway, not too many points dropped there. Horrible rack for my opponent. They changed, and this was my rack, which was pretty tricky. But Cat, when I eventually saw it, was fine, and that looks best. My opponent played Yaw. Now I have Lection, nowhere to play it. And there was no playable bingo. What did I do? I played Exilic for 30, keeping NOT. That looks fine. My opponent played Chi, and I played Teopan and Teapot, also playable in the same spot. Probably not much between those. And although it was a wide open and risky play on an otherwise tight board, tight for non-bingos that is, this is highly volatile, and volatility benefits or provides opportunities for both players. And it's volatile because of the number of hotspots it opens. Column 1 for stab bingos, L1 to LO for plays, 9 timers across row O. But it's very difficult to judge whether a move as volatile as this on a block board is best. Anyway, it worked out fine for me on this occasion. My opponent plays DE, and then I played Thud for 33. The alternative was Moth, F11. Oh, that's quite nice. But I think I prefer Thud. because it gets rid of the U. Now my opponent has Flera. Is there any way to play it? No. And this was my rack. I played Mungo was good. I would have played that if I'd been confident of it. My opponent's rack. Do they have a bingo? No. Played line. This is my rack. I played jaw at B13. That looks best. My opponent's rack. Changed. My rack. And I played Fez and Munge. And that looks best. My opponent's rack. Pretty good. They change again. And now I played Tolters for 76. Lotta's also available. And a whole bunch of lower scoring bingos. Now a great play by my opponent. Dangers for 77, but N-Dangers was available at 01, beginning EN for 86 points. But Dangers was a good spot. My rack. What did I do here? I played Verb. This was very tricky because the game was won. I was 150 points ahead. This is a tricky rack to deal with. And I really just wanted to keep scoring and keep a flexible rack. And that certainly meant splitting up the V and the U. Verb for 23 does that. Note that the higher scoring player being keeps the U and the V. Now, whether splitting the V and the U is worth dropping 12 points in score, I don't know. My opponent's rack, this is when I let Doyle through the net. Lloyd and Lloyd was playable and good. Anyway, and now I was in the position which often occurs of being able to see my opponent's remaining tiles and realising that I can plan an out in 2, which I did, but was it the best out in 2? Well, difficult to say with the options here because this program doesn't really take into account going out in 2. It just lists high-scoring plays, and you can see by the rack leaves down here that most of those will not allow you to go out in 2. So just scanning down here, Vai at B2 actually does look the best. My opponent plays Oh No, and finally Ennui and Uni were the only 2 outs. And that was the end of the game. So pretty good, very high scoring, nearly 500 points, huge winning spread. Very interesting game. Well, an interesting game rather, not very interesting. But it reached a sort of sticky patch in the middle, and I think that was epitomised at the Teopan play. I was in an agony of indecision over that play. It didn't feel right, or didn't feel best, but I couldn't see anything that was better. Now, it turned out okay in this instance, but that isn't really the judge of whether it was the best play. One would really need to analyse it using a Quackle or Elise to find out if it was best. But that was certainly the most interesting move on this game, and on this occasion it did work out fine for me. So I hope you enjoyed watching that game and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.